So welcome everybody to the Ogham meditation. We're starting the first tree of the last 5 trees, the acme, the clan or grove of trees, and it is AILM. So AILM, we were chatting just before I started the recording. I was going to say it's probably most known as the Scots Pine, but I think it's as well known as the elm. So the elm or the pine, and sometimes also the silver fir. So this is the image of it from the Procownic deck, where you can see. So this is the elm. I love the harp that is there. So I'm going to start, as I do, with the poem from the Celtic Tree Calendar poem cycle. So close your eyes. And start to focus on your breath. Connecting with that Scots pine, or this poem actually is for the silver fir. Connecting with the Alban Arthuan or Alban Arthan moon, the solstice moon. So it starts with a quote: "Hurl your green over us, cover us with your pools of fur." And that was Hilda Doolittle. Once the silver fir invades your dreams, aligns with your aspirations, roots downward in your darkest self, fills your brain with evergreenness and your eyes with visions of future trails and mountains, dense with virgin forests furling upwards to light blue winter skies of clarity and continuance. No nightmare sunsets can transcend such moonrise. No daytime will ever present enough light to compensate. And because you are sacred birth tree, you know that you are conceived of darkness. Your grounding keeps you close to ancestors and former selves, where once you saned new life by whirling balsam candles round the birthing here on rocky slopes, or maybe on a knoll above some oriental village, where your mother line flows backwards in colorful kimonos with paper parasols to shade the sun, and thousand-eyed peacocks to asperge insight and healing. For once you sense the silver thread that connects to your ethereal path, you can sing without a wind's panting cast a full shadow, even in Venus's glow, and you will stand up to be counted like Artemis in her pearl-tinged gown among matrons of the forest who spread out their branches to touch yours and whisper encouragement to assimilate past mistakes. When tangles, knots, and snarls sometimes camouflage the ambling cord of psychic growth, delaying maturation on your journey. Conifers are made for winter, and know that it will come. But for 1,000 years, we holy women have found a place to be and will not abjure. For you are Tree of Vision, beholding from your vantage point the immutability of all energies that hurl through the cosmos. And at this time of suns returning, by the cross of Ogham, can guide the phoenix in your soul through resurrection, can attend to present Genesis. But remember what is yet to come. And if you must abire, temper rustlings of anarchy with an anthem of peace. Eclipse this latency. Be all you can become. So breathe deep into your soul, deep into your torso. Allow yourself to connect with the wisdom and the perspective of AILM. just as we start to prepare to return, I'm going to invite you to connect with the energy of AILM in a bit of a different way. Imagine that you are standing and that there is this Om slash, this line across you, like your arms straight across, so that you form by your very stature this Om stave. And take some time to breathe into that. Allow yourself to reverberate, pulling in that energy of AILM, of elm and Scots pine or silver fir. What does the energy of AILM feel like in your body? What does it feel like for you to embody it? And how do you take in the wisdom that is being offered by sitting in the energy of AILM? And now bring your awareness once more back to your breath. Release that image and just focus on the flow, the inhale and the exhale. Slowly start to shift your awareness so that you bring yourself back to the here and now, bringing the wisdom, the insights from AILM with you. When you're ready, take 3 deep centering breaths. We're still recording, so those who are joining in person, you can keep your cameras off. But those who are joining us in Zoom land, just take that moment to land. And so I usually welcome you back with just a few thoughts of what came up from, I feel like itchy, from my journey with the tree. And then I end with a poem from the Woodland Bard, just to bookend our experience, our tree experience with poetry. So I found this interesting. I was actually thinking about it a lot because I was just in Scotland a few days ago, and I was conscious because I knew that we were coming up to the AILM meditation, and I did try to reach out, and when I saw quite a few pine trees, I'm not sure if they were like Scots pines, but they were Scottish pines. And and there was a sense of starkness. I I don't know, I'm still sort of working this through, but I'm realizing that these lands, these Celtic lands, are very, very similar, but they're different. Ireland feels different than Wales, feels different than Scotland. There's slight variations. And there is something of a starkness that I, even in the picture of the Scots Pine, which I showed here, of the endurance and the grounded wisdom and the ability to kind of cut through all of the bells and the whistles and the icing and just come back to the thing which is going to be timelessly relevant. Felt a bit like the message of AILM. But the other thing too is this sense that, you know, yes, on the one hand, there's this higher perspective and just being able to get to the crux of what is really important and allow that to be that which guides. But also the other reflection is that it stands tall in the distance so that it becomes something which is that which can offer the higher perspective that we can keep moving towards, right? It helps to give us a sense of direction as well. So those were a couple of things that I took from AILM. The Woodland Bard talks about AILM as being of service, discovering our true home, from which to serve from, and sounding the first note of the fourth acme, the first note of our transforming winter, is what he says. So his poem. AILM, the pine, must always find its own home. A pine planted by human hand can remain sad, longing, and alone. During our growing, we fulfill our own sense of belonging, our own feelings of being at home. That personal sanctuary, our sacred seat, where every inner particle becomes its most complete, where our vision and performance becomes its best, end of a journey, where we have earned our rest. And then, for no reason we can account for, we carry a dread of a moment when all of the good moments are gone. I carried that once, that dread, and turning west, I saw pines against a whitening sky, their dark pointed heads against a quiet sky. There was peace at that moment. I laughed, and I was reminded that good moments do not go away. AILM, the pine, lush in all seasons, allows birds to perch, to rest, sing, and play. No angst when they land, no reason. No pining for their return when they fly away. In the heart of a pine tree, there is no apprehension. No wish to fall, no wish to sleep and awaken. Tree groves were the first temples. Learning the trees of the earth was simple, as they wrote poems upon the sky. Later, we cut them down, turned them into paper, and onto them compose our beliefs, create archives of our emptiness, and doodle our questions to solve our griefs. As I attempted to translate this wonder into a poem of pines onto paper for you, a wind blew and excited them into waving, swinging, and swirling, uniting them into a glorious enthusiasm of holy roller worship that chants and sings. And then the trees became silent. I listened quietly, closely, to discover that their songs never cease. Songs for discovery, songs for inner peace. Every cell within every pine is throbbing, with every fiber resonating a living music, droning and humming like harp strings, while their incense enchants their magic. No wonder pine groves and other tree groves were the first temples before they were cut down and hewn into cathedrals and churches that lures people further away from the light of their guides that we were told lead us astray. AILM, the pines and their brethren trees, see many suns rise and set, many seasons come and go, and many people pass by into silence. By now, we may well wonder what Ogma's tale of the trees could really be for us. If trees had tongues, they would tell us instead of me. If only we had ears fine enough to listen and trust. Between every two pines is a doorway hinged to our life, and when it has swung open, there is no reason to stay silent, hidden, and bound on the day when we discover trees have tongues. Sing away, pine-scented trees. Awaken my soul to serve with ease. So, blessings of AILM, and may these days of ELM bring you much wisdom and high perspective, higher vision. And we will see you when the next days of trees come in a couple of weeks.